This is a prelude to the Tesla Investor Day. As I'm recording this, is March 1st, so the actual Investor Day has happened, but I haven't listened to it yet. Unfortunately, I wasn't invited, so I'm going to listen to it. But I want to do a prelude for two reasons. One is, of course, to have a record of what I was expecting, but more importantly, also to frame myself to then analyze the event properly. So here are the main things. First, let's start with the name. There's a Cormac McCarthy quote which says names are important because they set the rules of engagement. So calling this an investor day sets the rules of engagement, which means it's meant for investors. Now, I have a feeling that there's a discrepancy between what Elon Musk considers an investor and what a typical Wall Street analyst considers an investor. In other words, this event, in my view, is going to be a lot more about long-term fundamental views on what it means to be invested in the mission of Tesla, and not as much into what it means to be a short-term shareholder of Tesla, which is what most analysts on Wall Street care about, because second, they are going to Austin for the simple reason because they have to come back and write something useful to their constituency, which is their salespeople, which then have to sell research to buy-side investors. This is how Wall Street works. And I don't believe that Elon Musk and the management of Tesla either cares or knows about this. So there's going to be a discrepancy. And I think that's the reason why. Third, I think most of the time the stock reacts negatively on these events because they don't deliver relative to the expectations of what actually is expected on a day like that. But having put that aside, I think the most important thing that I expect is a long-term discussion about how to lower the cost of ownership and increase customer value within the Tesla context. So all the products and services that the company is expected to deliver. And I think that is the most important thing, because this event is not about investors that have capital and call themselves Wall Street investors. This is about people who want to put their careers, their money, or just their share of mind into the mission of Tesla. This is another In Wrong podcast. It's March 1st, 2023. This is Krim Delco for the day. The fund is down 1.2%. The market's down 30 basis points. For the year, we are up 66.6%. The market is up 2.9%. We're outperforming by 63.7%. Like I said, this is a prelude, so this is not an analysis or anything like that. This is basically, what do I expect from the Tesla Investor Day? And like I said, I expect a discrepancy between the expectations of Wall Street analysts and what's actually happening. Actually, that is the truth, because I can see the stock after hours already down 6%. So that clearly indicates that people are disappointed. And I think the reason they're disappointed is because Tesla is not going to deliver relative to the expectation of an analyst. The analyst goes there because she has to write a report for their salespeople, and Tesla doesn't really care about. So this is the first thing. And I think that is a little bit an unforced error on Tesla, because Tesla has to be careful in terms of how they name things. And when you call something Investor Day, then you are implying a traditional Investor Day, which is what Wall Street analysts expect, which is you go there, they give you some targets, and then you can go back, write research reports, and sell it to your buy-side analysts, and so on and so forth. But put that aside, I think, what do we expect? What would we like to hear? I think this is, like Elon Musk said, it's a day that defines people who want to invest in the mission of Tesla, which is to accelerate the advent of sustainable energy and autonomy for transportation. So if you want to invest in this mission, you can either deploy your human capital, your financial capital, or your share of mind. I think those are the three big things you can deploy. And for all of those things, this Investor Day will give enough, hopefully, meat around the bone. They will talk about how they can lower the cost of manufacturing, lower the cost of products and services, and increase customer value. This is, in a nutshell, how I would like to hear, or what I would like to hear. Now, on the details, Tesla is a conglomerate of startups, so there's plenty of opportunities to do that. There are many ways to attack the value chain of the Tesla products and services. And of all of those things, hopefully they will pick the most important ones. This could be battery, this could be mining, this could be manufacturing, this could be the design process, the manufacturing design process, the powertrain. I think one of the things that we haven't heard much about is actually talking about the powertrain, the electric motors, how to make better magnets, how to make more maybe better conductors. I'm just doing some work right now on superconducting materials, which is a little bit far-fetched, but I think it is certainly one option how the future could look like for Tesla, where you have much better conductors that then are deployed in the motor. So there's lots of interesting things about, like I said, the powertrain, the battery. We've had a battery day, so that is certainly has been discussed there, and hopefully will be reiterated. And then we have the AI side of things, which we already had two big events. So that also, we don't expect new things. So what we expect new here is particularly manufacturing and powertrain. Those are the two big vectors that we think Tesla hasn't said much and should be saying more. And hopefully this Investor Day will lead towards more clarity on that front. Finally, I want to say that like every event at Tesla, this has to be not just to attract financial capital, but also human capital. And what I mean by that is that any university student, undergrad, grad, PhD, should be thinking about working for Tesla. And you can do this in several ways. And I think the best way is to inspire people. When I was young, when I was a grad student or even undergrad, I lacked a little bit that inspiration. I mean, the inspiration back then for me came from people like George Soros, and I wanted to run a hedge fund. And that's fine, for good or for better or for worse. I actually ended up doing that. But I think today the opportunity set in, let's say, chemistry, quantum chemistry, physics, quantum physics, is so big and so large. Material science, which is, I would say, one of the best applications for all these disciplines. And all of these problems are sort of centering towards what Tesla is doing. Almost every interesting problem at Tesla can be reduced to a material science problem. And I don't mean reduced in a negative way, I mean this in a positive way. So hopefully that management can inspire people to not just apply to work for Tesla, but also study fields that can be applied to Tesla. This is important because it's not just about attracting the talent that then executes against the Tesla mission, but hopefully we can also inspire people to do work even before they work for Tesla, think about the problem set, and then work for Tesla or even for other companies that as a conglomerate could help drive the mission of Tesla. So to summarize, we believe this Investor Day's purpose is going to be to attract capital in a broader sense, human or financial capital, towards the mission of Tesla, and that probably most analysts will be disappointed because it's not going to be one of those analyst days that helps Wall Street analysts write reports, which is fine with us. We will take into account a sell-off of the shares after the event like we had many times before. What's important for us when we're going to listen to this, and we're going to do this hopefully today and tomorrow, we're going to analyze against our priorities, which is what is the best way to lower the cost of ownership and increase customer value. In particular, two areas. One is powertrain and the other is manufacturing, which aren't necessarily important, the most important ones, but they haven't been talked about as much as other important areas such as AI and the battery technology.